Aurora Scientific is a life science instrumentation company based in Aurora, Ontario, Canada, and we design and manufacture instruments for a series of applications, including muscle physiology, neuroscience, and material science. The device we're talking about today is our 801C small intact muscle apparatus. This apparatus is designed and integrated into a system which we call our 1500A small intact muscle system. The apparatus is designed to integrate our 400 series transducer and our high-speed length controller and potentially our dual-mode lever system to measure the contractility of muscle tissue. We have built-in electrodes that are used to stimulate or pace striated muscle tissues, and we also design it to be microscope mountable so you can image while doing contraction. So the instrumentation is designed to test the length, tension, or force velocity relationships of contractile muscle, as well as work loops and stiffness. In addition to muscle mechanics measurements, a lot of researchers look at other parameters such as inflammatory markers that are released by the muscle. So the bath is small enough that you can actually measure the markers that are released by the muscle and see how the inflammatory markers increase or decrease due to contraction or due to lengthening of the muscle. And you can also mount this on a microscope in order to measure calcium transient measurements. Okay, so we know that this apparatus can be used in a whole host of different tissues, including skeletal muscle, as well as cardiovascular muscle. For cardiovascular tissue, we often use intact preparations of papillary muscle, trabeculi muscle, and an emerging field of engineered constructs. Another unique application is for zebrafish larvae, where you can mount the zebrafish in the bath and measure whole larval contractions in different disease models. The bath is actually designed to mount the transducer and the lever system slightly below the surface level, so you can use a sealing lid to measure oxygen consumption as well as mechanics to look at the metabolic function of the muscle during contraction. So the advantage of this system is that you can use a whole host of different tissues on it. You're able to mount cardiac muscle, smooth muscle, as we mentioned, but you can configure it in any different way that you need it to utilize. You can use it for small temperature-sensitive tissues like engineered constructs, all the way up to whole muscle, hyaline muscle from mouse tissue, if you use it with our dual-mode lever system. The apparatus is microscope mountable, so you can also integrate it with ratiometric calcium system. So you can do calcium transient measurements simultaneously with mechanics measurements. And as I mentioned with the oxygen consumption, you can integrate all three and use our software to integrate force measurements, length measurements, sarcomere length, ratiometric calcium, and you can use it all in a single timestamp file, which reduces analysis and interpretation time after the fact.